Welcome to the Bookers Alliance podcast, where we hold the pencil and the pencil is power. Coming at you right now is your host, Marky Mark, along with the man, the myth, the legend, Frank Donaldson. Join us as we discuss the ever-changing landscape of professional wrestling. So hang on tight, you jabronis, and enjoy the ride. Welcome in, everybody. Thank you for joining today's episode of the Bookers Alliance podcast. Come on inside the house, bring yourself up a ringside seat, get your soda, your popcorn, your whiskey, get everything you need, because it looks like we are continuing our series with the CM Punk effect.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it seems like every week we get a new focus out there. We get a new focal point to kind of, hone in on. So I appreciate him for showcasing some of the top tier talent. But I mean, damn, I thought we were trying to, bring up some of the young guys. Isn't it time to elevate a young guy here?
The average WWE age of a champion is above 40 years old.
Yeah, that fits in right with our podcast. So let's go.
Hey, join the 40 Club.
Absolutely. More champions over 40. Hell yeah.
There it is. Let's throw a shout out to this week's sponsor, though, that we got Henry McKenna, bottled in bond, aged 10 years. Might be hard to find on the market. Used to be easy to find. Used to be cheap. Henry McKenna, what you doing jacking up your price?
Tariffs.
Tariffs.
Yeah, you got it. We're going to call it the tariffs.
Mm-hmm. The big orange pumpkin on the hill.
Yeah. I mean, why not, right? Why not make Americans pay more for American shit that we don't want to pay more for? Why not, right?
True, especially if it's going to help us deal with everyday life.
Yeah, well, it's kind of the only way I'm getting through it right now. That's why we got a new spot. That's why we're bringing in new sponsors we never had before. Yeah, because I'm putting all the feelers out there like, hey, what y'all got to get me through?
All right, cheers to Henry McKenna.
All right.
Oh, that's some good stuff there.
That's my first taste of their brand. I haven't had any McKenna up to this point.
You get the up front, you get the honey, the vanilla, the bacon spice, the brown sugar.
Yeah, and it's bold too. The tastes are out there. It doesn't mildly get you. You immediately get a taste when you drink it. Yeah.
And something I just discovered. Hey, we talked a little bit about it last week. We'll talk a little bit about it this week. Start keto, you start tasting different flavors in whiskey.
Oh, there you go. You're getting the full effect now. That'll be next week's episode.
That's the full effect. That's some good tasting whiskey.
Nice. Hold on. So I hear with keto, it also hits you faster, right? So so this episode might get spicy towards 35 minutes, huh?
Might.
All right. Let's see let's get it in.
You're saying there's a chance.
Let's get it on. As what's the guy's name? Henry Mills?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's get it on.
Get it on.
All right.
All right. So going into the CM Punk effect, we're going to table that part of the discussion real quick. But wasn't there something that happened this weekend?
I don't know. I had a dream, though.
You had a dream.
Yeah, I was Saturday night, right? I was watching Saturday Night Live, and I was like, wait a minute. Wasn't there something I was supposed to be doing? Mm-hmm. Then I thought about it, and and I said, nah, hell no, there ain't nothing. There ain't nothing important going on that we need to be doing for the podcast. So I went to sleep, right?
Yep.
And while I was sleeping, I said, like a ghost hit me, and the ghost came in my mind, and it said, I'm winning another championship. Where are you? And I'm like, wait a minute, now let's not get it twisted, right? The ghost had a nice little figure, so I'm looking, I'm peeping, wait a minute, who is this the ghost of? And I'm like, wait, all I could just hear, I saw like a little hand flash in front of my eyes with a dollar sign on it. And I'm like, wait, Sasha Banks. I remember her. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then I said, wait, she don't exist no more. She's gone. But somewhere or another lurking in the shadows is the ghost of Sasha Banks out here on the, in my dream this weekend.
Dreams.
Absolutely. Whereas she was telling me she was winning a 12th world title. And I said, this ain't a dream. This is a friggin' nightmare. What the hell is happening here? Oh, my God.
So you woke up going...
I woke up in a cold sweat. Like, what the hell is happening? I was like, who's booking this? And that's all I said. I was like, Bookers. And it made me think of us. And I said, God, they need us so bad on the other side.
So
I'm just not willing to go.
So you're telling me you got straight up out your bed that morning, made you some pancakes, and had an AEW pancake PLE and watched Wrestle Dream.
So I did have an AEW pancake because the first two burnt. But so and after that, I'm like, well, here's a fail. And then I said, wow.
Damn.
So and then I kind of like took a picture of it and I sent it over to Tony and I called that my application. I was like, here's my resume. Here, one burnt ass pancake was my application.
Oh my God.
The second burnt ass pancake was my resume. And I said, hell, I can't mess it up no more than what you're doing.
Wow.
Bring me on.
Wow.
I didn't get a DM back yet, but I'm patiently waiting. I figure it should be coming through anytime this week.
All right, so obviously we talking about AEW Wrestle Dream. Unfortunately, your boys just had other things going on.
Nothing. I had absolutely nothing, but I was still like, that was still more important than watching that PLE.
All right, so two things that I can talk about coming out of that, though. Two things.
Glad you got two things. Hell.
Two things. First thing, the moment we start trying to drown somebody in an aquarium in the middle of the ring, I can stick through some of the worst shit imaginable trying to make sense of it. But come on.
Got to put on your suspenders.
Come on. You want to suspend my disbelief.
You got to put your Urkel suspenders
you
on.
You want to suspend you gotta pull disbelief.
Them up high water.
Who was it in that dirty ass river on a Monday Night Raw or SmackDown fighting in the river because the championship got thrown over there? Who was that?
That was Austin and The Rock.
Okay,
that was creative.
It was creative. So if you want to fucking drown somebody, do that.
Yeah.
Not a fish tank in
a
the
fish
middle
tank
of the
that you brought
ring.
in and had to fill up. I mean,
ridiculous.
We literally watched somebody bring it into the ring, somebody else give them the water to fill it up, then to spill it all over the place. I'm like, what are we doing right
Okay,
now?
so here, look, I know I might be on a rant, and look, sorry, if there's AEW fans out there, I make no apologies. I'm sorry.
They ain't apologizing for making me watch it, so
look,
I ain't apologizing for critiquing.
So look, the worst spot that I had ever seen in AEW was the exploding death match flop with the sparkler in the corner. Okay,
yeah, but at least Eddie Kingston kept Mox safe through.
Right.
He protected him
from the spark.
Yeah, because God knows what could have happened if one of those sparklers had flicked off and accidentally hit him in the shoulder.
But it seems to me that there's two spots here that have a common thread, and that common thread is Jon Moxley.
Yeah.
And I think somebody needs to tell John, these ideas are stupid.
Well, hopefully they ain't his, right?
Hopefully
like
they're not.
If I'm him and I'm like, hey, the boss gave me the orders, I just carry him out. Okay, I can deal with that, right? But because of who these people are and what these actions are, these don't feel like they came from like a Tony Khan type character.
No.
Right? I feel like these came from the participants.
The boys are booking the match.
Yeah, and you know what they say about when the inmates are running the asylum.
Yeah,
we're in WCW 2.0 territory right now. We're definitely in like 99, 2000 WCW world.
From what I heard, they even started the pay-per-view off just like a WCW. I believe it was Fall Brawl started off back in the day, where the pre-show match went into the opening of the first bout of the main card, meaning that they're in there fighting from the pre-show. The fireworks go off. The main event starts.
In the middle of
the middle of the match.
Really?
Yeah. I'm like, yep, that's a WCW thing.
That does sound like a W. I mean, Bischoff always used to talk about that. Like, yeah, Bischoff used to say that. You give them a hot open and it brings the energy and the excitement.
No.
Who was the match? Do you have any idea?
It was the Dax and Cash.
Oh, those guys, the Revival.
The Revival or whatever the hell their name is.
No clue.
And then the Mike Speedball, whatever, and that team.
Awesome. The reason I ask is because I'm thinking if you're watching the pre-show for free, right?
Yep.
The hook is because the match is so exciting that you're watching and you weren't intended to buy it. Now you're like, God, I gotta see the end of this match. And if the PLE is gonna be half as good as this one match, I'm willing to fork out $60 in the last moment to get on board with this pay-per-view. Now, 10 years ago, I liked the Revival, right? They were cool. They were in. They were gonna refresh the tag team division.
FTR is their current name.
Great. I'm glad you remembered it. Fuck the Revival, right? Because that's what we did. Essentially, that's what we've done is we did that. So 10 years ago, I was like, hey, I'm on board with these guys. I'm excited. Now let me tell you, if I was intending to buy the pay-per-view, right, and that match was still happening like 6-7 minutes before the pay-per-view started, and I didn't see the end happening, I would have called my cable company and requested them to stop order on that pay-per-view and said, you know what? This is the best they got? No, hell, I need that $60, $70 back. Cancel that order, please. And if you cannot, I will cancel your service.
I heard tell they actually had some people calling this weekend to request a refund.
Yeah, that would do it. Again, so that team isn't positioned in a top area, even though they're top guys. They ain't positioned in that position. They're nowhere near that position on the card to drag me into buying a pay-per-view that I wasn't intended to do before.
Speaking of position on the card, let's talk about Miss CEO Mercedes Moné.
So I've got positions, right? I don't know about the card.
I teed it up for you.
I don't know nothing about the card. I didn't see it. Don't know where it fell on the card, but I can think of positions.
All right. So obviously you're not on board with all of us that are not on board with the whole 10, 11, 12, 13 belts Mercedes is carrying around, however many it is now. But this ain't the first. And I was reminded of that of this weekend because somebody posted a picture of it, and now I truly understand where it's coming from. It's not Kenny Omega either. I know Kenny had the cleaner type gimmick.
Yeah.
But Kenny's cleaner gimmick wasn't about going around to these promotions or even indie promotions and sucking up mid-tier belts. Kenny's cleaner role was he was holding the actual heavyweight championship from these companies.
Yeah.
So when Kenny did it, now granted, he didn't go 10, 11, 12, 13 belts deep. He had maybe 7, 8, 9 belts, but nonetheless. She's not being compared to Kenny. She is being compared to Ultimo
Dragon, yeah, from WCW fame.
Yep.
But there was a difference between so Ultimo Dragon was grabbing light heavyweight championships because he was probably one of the best light heavyweights wrestling. But the question I asked, that would have been 95 when I first heard Ultimo Dragon when he debuted in WCW with 100 belts and Sonny Ono and blah, blah, blah. The question I asked then is, who cares?
Yep.
And so now here we are 30 years, 30, right?
30.
So we're rehashing a gimmick from 30 years ago. And 30 years later me, so 17-year-old me asked then, at that point I would have been a 11-year wrestling fan. Asked then, who cares?
Right.
Now, as a 41-year wrestling fan, I say, who cares? Nothing changed right now. She could have 50 belts. I won't give a damn. Not, unless one of them's the WWE World Heavyweight or Women's World Championship or the WWE Women's Championship. I really ain't gonna care.
Well, now her sights are set on the AEW Women's Championship because she's staring down Chris Statlander, which, granted, Statlander deserves the belt. I like Statlander. But I do think they're going to parlay that onto Miss CEO.
So, yeah, Chris Statlander was a great transitional champion not to have Tony Storm drop a title match to Mercedes, right? Yep. Or Ultimo Moné is what she's going by on social media now. Yep. Yeah, she's Ultimo Moné. So, great, right? But anyway, so, yeah, they got it on Chris Statlander, got it on Tony Storm. Tony Storm went away. She got as far away from the product as she could because she's like, what the hell? She's like, I'm about to break out and succeed, and they're dragging me down.
She's about to get entered into this tag tournament with Mina Shirakawa.
She's going to go to a tag tournament.
Yep.
That's what we're doing with Tony Storm.
That's what we're doing with Tony Storm.
Great. What are we doing with Britt Baker? The only other women's star that was worth their milk that's still there. What are we doing with her?
Y'all hearing your boys talk about AEW like we don't know what's going on. We still know what's going on.
Yeah, we got a real loose finger on the pulse of this product.
As a wrestling fan, you're never going to turn completely away from something unless it just shits the bed like WCW did.
So, unfortunately, the reason I keep up with it is because I am holding out hope that one day there'll be some angle or something that excites me. And I'm like, you know what? XYZ is the heavyweight champion. And his name damn sure ain't Hangman Page. But XYZ guy is the heavyweight champion. Now I'm interested. Now I got to go back and see it.
Look.
Or ABC is the women's champion or the TBS champion, the longest reign of that ain't Mercedes Moné.
I'm going to make a statement. And it's not on the bad end of this statement. And I hope you get where I'm coming from. Eventually, AEW needs that NWO moment. Not the end of it, the beginning of it.
They thought they had that 3 or 4 times.
No.
When Punk came in, they thought they had it.
No.
When the Death Riders started, they thought they had it.
They were still They were still too.
They were still too green.
They were
Let's
still
just
too
call them
young.
what they are.
They were
They were
still
still
too
too
young.
green and wet behind the ears.
And even now, I don't believe there is somebody within their current stable, their current roster, that where they could have that NWO moment. Now,
I mean, well, they got Andrade like a week after he.
Did they
left.
though?
So apparently
Did
not,
they
right?
though?
Apparently not. Which we don't do dirt sheet stuff here that goes off the out of the ring. If you guys notice, our show kind of circulates around happenings in the ring.
Yep.
So we're not going to wander into the business dealings of whatever in the hell that was. We're just going to let that be out there, and
Yeah,
y'all go search that one for yourselves.
that was a little crazy, but
Yeah.
Anyhow, we digress. So obviously, Wrestle Dream happened. Obviously, there was some controversial stuff that come out of that with the fish tank and all of that good stuff. The only thing that I can walk away with saying is
It's Sting.
It's Sting.
If Sting's in a wrestling ring, I watch it.
I watch it.
So
even old man Sting, look. Joker Sting was like pinnacle for me.
Yeah.
Joker Sting, and then bleach blonde surfer Sting. Right?
Okay. See,
So-
I really like Crow Sting.
Crow Sting.
But I'm talking WCW like 97
Right,
Crow
90,
Sting.
yeah, the first Crow Sting.
Yeah.
Right? But this old man Sting, I'm digging that.
So
I'm digging that.
it's okay. I like it, right? But the problem is when you do a whole PLE and the only thing one of the top podcasts in wrestling are talking about coming out of it is old man Sting. God no, hell. I don't even know what to tell you can save that at this point. Can they resurrect Hogan? I mean, is there any way they could get like Sting Hogan from 97 Starrcade back one more time? I mean, you said you wanted an NWO moment. I mean, that'll do it, right? If Hogan becomes the third man and he actually walks out there to his music.
Look, if we're going in, you got to bring Scott.
I mean, I'm saying you bring Scott Hall out there, Kevin Nash, you dye his hair.
We say this suggests R.I.P. Hogan and Hall.
Absolutely, 100%.
All right, so let's get into some more.
Bring back Macho.
Let's get into some more other aspects related to our topic today.
They got the Big Show. They could just sign him right on. He could be that Kevin Nash right now. I mean,
we get Scott Steiner back out there.
I mean, yeah. His nephew on the other channel, he's actually doing stuff that I want to talk about.
Now,
so.
his nephew right now. So let's lean into this a little bit.
Now we're talking. Now we're cooking with grease. I'm ready for this topic.
So
that 10 minutes pretty much killed me, unalived me, as we would say in the internet world.
So Monday Night Raw, Braun Breaker pulls up in the Escalade, gets out with
That was not an Escalade, sir.
Okay.
That was a Tahoe.
a top, pulls out in the top.
But if the Booker's Alliance will pull up in an
an
Escalade at any point in time if y'all want to call us out. So I'm just saying.
Pulls up, gets out with the World Heavyweight title on that shoulder, and might I add, looking great.
I mean, it kind of fit, right?
It kind of fit.
The whole segment, the whole setup kind of fit with Bronson, perfect. And kind of had the muscle. Then you had the, I was looking at the visual, and I'm like, I'm looking at the visual, and I'm like, so if they're testing the waters here, they got to pass it, right?
Mm-hmm. So the Pierce is in the ring talking about the situation with Seth. Here comes the Bronze and Paul down to the ring. Pierce starts telling us Seth gonna be out for a while, had major surgery, which. Again,
all because of the Bronze. It's their fault. And they accentuated that.
Yep.
He wasn't really injured going into Monday. But because of that one spear and the tsunami that apparently Seth cracked like a cookie in the ring in there.
Yep. So if he is hurt, well wishes to you, Seth. Hope you come back quick and you heal up speedily fast. But anyhow, basically, Pierce tells the Bronze and Paul that Seth is officially stripped of the belt, and he needs it back in his possession. Braun Breaker didn't like that news very well. Told him, look, ask nicely.
Yeah.
Ask nicely.
Yeah.
Just say please.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, here we go. We go get Braun Breaker the bully.
Here
we go. Okay.
I mean, he's got the muscle behind him, so it's not as if he ain't a big badass on his own. But he's got 400 pounds of muscle backing him up.
So Pierce,
kind of like us.
Yep. So Pierce caves, says please, gets the belt back, walks out, announces there's going to be a battle royal tonight for CM Punk's dance partner, basically. So we get into this situation where that all kinds of goes away, and then Paul comes up to Pierce in the back a couple minutes later and going, hey, I heard the graphic changed. Why aren't my boys in the graphic? Pierce was like, well, that's because they're not in the match. Paul was like, hold on a minute. Why are they not in the match? Pierce basically tells him they can be back in the match. Just say please.
Yeah.
Just say please. So Paul, in Paul's voice, gets basically verbally down on his hands and knees and says, Pierce, we love how you book things. We appreciate you as our general manager. Will you please put Bronze back in the match?
Yeah.
Pierce says no and slammed the door.
Yeah, get to stepping.
Basically said go to hell. So
And speaking of hell,
that was interesting because Paul is like, this day cannot get any worse.
yeah, that's right. So speaking of hell, what happened when Paul turned around?
Ooh, the man, Becky Lynch.
Oh, yeah.
Got in his face. Now look, this whole thing right here, this whole segment was beautifully done.
Yeah.
Kudos to Paul, kudos to Becky on how they did this segment. Becky grabbed that tie, pulled Paul in close, and then lowered her voice so we as watchers had to lean in close with it just to pay attention and hear what was being said. And she basically told him, go to hell. I hate how you done my husband. I don't trust you. What did she call him? Penguin face?
Yeah. I mean, I think we all can agree on that. That's definitely true. Paul is the penguin of the
penguin from
WWE,
Batman Universe.
100%.
So basically, Paul looked like he's got the shit scared out of him. Winds up walking back into the locker room with the Bronze. The Bronze are upset that they're not in the match.
Yep.
And then Paul proceeds to tell them, do you not trust me? Do you not trust me? Look at where I led as an advocate, Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
Look at where I took the tribal chief.
Yeah. Main evented more WrestleManias than it. And like he said, and he's not wrong.
He's not wrong. Look at
Wherever Paul goes, the world heavyweight title seems to follow
look at where I
real
led
close.
CM Punk. Look
Yeah.
at where I led Seth Rollins. Trust me, it'll all get handled. And then you got the Bronze kind of looking at each other, and I'm like, I don't believe they are buying what Paul's selling at this point.
I don't know. So honestly, I don't see them separating from Paul anytime soon, because if they do, that would only leave for Paul to go back to Roman, which
No,
a lot of rumors have pointed in that direction that he wants that, but I don't think it's anywhere near the right time to do anything like that.
I don't think they would separate them right now from Paul unless Brock was in the picture.
So, and that's where I was going with that, right? I feel like at some point, Paul's going to need that hero. Paul's going to need that savior. Paul's going to need someone to come to bat for him. And I mean, there's only two valid options right now, and that's going to be Brock Lesnar or Roman Reigns, right? So one of those two would have to find their way in. I don't know right now that it's the right time for either of them to do it. I feel like Roman's got a good brewing storyline going on, the Bloodline saga on one side. So if you're looking to bring Brock in, or if you're trying to do like a Survivor Series or a Royal Rumble or even possibly a Road to WrestleMania angle with Brock, I mean, that's the way to do it is through Paul Heyman. So, perhaps we're just planting little seeds here or there, that'll sprout and grow as little seeds do.
Yep.
A few months down the road, or maybe, another injury happens, God forbid, because that's what happens on this channel. And we have to hot shotgun some stuff and throw another guy in tomorrow, and it has to be Brock. Who knows?
Speaking of injuries, time out real quick. Got to give a shout out to Sol Ruka. Sol had to relinquish her North American Championship due to an injury. We wish her the best. Hope she gets well soon.
So I got a question in regards to that, I think you're the only one that can answer because production told me that you were the guy to go to.
Okay.
So my question is our archives working? Like, are the episodes still up and broadcasted from in the past?
They should be.
Okay, so do we need to like hashtag our injury episodes, like the conversations we've had over the past?
Yeah, we might have to put that on blast.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe we need to push that out to like TikTok or something and get that in the air, because I don't think the damn talent is listening no more.
I believe that episode was "You got to be more careful."
I mean, I think we've done a couple of these episodes, right? Because every time we turn around, we've got well set plans that are ready to go with Triple H and his long term storytelling, and then all of a sudden we got an injury.
Yeah, that's the problem with long-term storytelling is the injury bug can just wreak havoc.
Yeah, because I mean, so they showed a graphic this week about with Seth and then Sol Ruka how many current roster stars are injured right now, and we're over 10, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
bad.
these are top tier guys. It's not like these are, the drugs are like LFG or something like that.
Yep.
These are guys that are on the main roster in prominent storylines that are just gone away. So,
On the flip side of that, the Royal Rumble should be fun.
yeah, it'll be real interesting. I mean, it could almost be the comeback rumble. I mean,
comeback rumble.
yeah, just have 30 guys who we haven't seen in the last year, and they just come back out and they break out and get in the ring. So who knows?
All right, let's continue though on the story path that we were talking about with the Bronze and Paul. So apparently they've got to learn to trust Paul, because as Paul walked away, Braun told Bronson, "Hey, I've got a lot to learn."
Yeah.
So we'll see where that goes. And then this whole over the top battle royal, a lot of people were in it. Judging by the roster that was in it, there was only a handful that I thought, okay, they're going to come out on top.
Small hand.
A small handful.
Yeah.
I was really, even though it wouldn't have made sense for the storyline, especially for the CM Punk effect, I was really kind of hoping they would pull the trigger on AJ.
So
more time.
I wanted Rusev more than anything because AJ had just won the tag titles earlier in the night. Shout out to AJ and
Dragon Lee.
Right. Yeah, another champion over 40.
Champion.
We'll take that. So give me more.
So what's their tag name?
AJ Lee.
AJ Lee.
Absolutely.
Has to be,
that's
right?
why CM Punk was out there when they came out for the battle. Yeah, because AJ Lee should be the tag name.
Lee.
They could even take the throw off shirts that the real AJ Lee ain't wearing.
Here's what I'm pulling for.
No
Here's what I'm pulling for. And it is a true New Japan name if they decide to do this.
Okay.
The Phenomenal Dragons.
I would say Dragon Style.
Dragons. Ooh.
Yeah, I would say Dragon Style.
Dragon Style.
Yeah, absolutely. I just came up with that one real quick. AJ Lee was, when you said it, I'm like, oh my God, this is great. But yeah, no, so you wanted AJ, obviously, that last run. I feel like it would have been good just to have him and Punk go at it a couple times, kind of like the same way AJ did with Punk or with Cena.
Right.
I feel like he could have gave Punk that same thing. Honestly, though, I wanted Rusev, and controversial as it is, I wanted him to push Rusev straight through and win the title. At this point now, with Seth being out and with everything else that's happened, I don't want to see damn LA Knight and Jey Uso and CM Punk be the only three that are in this same mix for world title, right? Basically, Seth's gone, so now you're just going to take the same three guys that have been in the mix for the last 6 months, and you're going to keep running with it.
You know what that's called? You know what that's called?
Huh.
Lazy booking.
Yeah, that's the thing. You got, so now Rusev had already lost the Intercontinental title, but there was cheating involved. So it's not like that should take him down a peg.
Speaking of cheating involved,
I mean, there's a lot of cheating going on lately.
Who was in there at the last? Dom Mysterio. Why couldn't they pull the trigger on Dom?
So Dom's already the Intercontinental title.
Man, he's the AAA championship too.
I know. And if we put another title on him, yeah, exactly. That's what I was just getting ready to say. I'm like, damn, if they put another title on him, then I'm going to be on here ranting and raving about another asshole holding all the titles and not doing nothing with them. So yeah, let's stay out of that.
Yeah,
but no, I mean,
seriously,
when I was looking at the talent in the ring and I'm looking at the guys measuring up to each other, I'm like, damn, Rusev's got everything that you need for a world champion. He's missing something, and I feel like, bringing back Lana could actually fix that. But I feel like he could have had that crazy heel run, if nothing else, at least to get us to the Rumble, right? Let's say he drops it at the Rumble, then you go to what? But it would have been fresh. It would have been something brand new. It would have been something so shocking and amazing that everybody's like, oh my God, never expected it. But when you got a top guy go out, that's your only opportunity, or at least that's your best opportunity to elevate a new guy, right?
Yep.
Jey Uso, CM Punk, LA Knight have already been there. They've been there for the longest time. They've done the same thing for the longest time. Now I feel like, okay, they got Punk up there, they got LA Knight up there, they got Jey Uso. They're trying to get Jimmy in there, but he's going to end up working with Jay. Jay's definitely going over, right? Because I mean, Jimmy's got a kid coming, so he's taking 6 weeks off. We're not changing enough to make something new and interesting. Like you said, it's like, oh, well, hell, we had 4 guys in there. Well, now we're just going to subtract 1 and we'll just keep plugging forward. No, you have to do something to shake things up when these kind of things happen, and we missed it.
Yeah, so it was kind of weird how this over-the-top battle
plus
royal.
Rusev's over 40, so
that's true. That's true.
100%.
But he has a hot wife.
Absolutely. God give him credit for that.
Now, look, that ain't the Booker's last time. I mean, that's his own admission.
Yeah. That's what he said. Kind of like how Becky says she's got a hot husband. I mean,
Rusev has a hot wife.
Right. So I ain't mad at him for thinking that. Not at all.
So how this all shook out at the end with Jey Uso kind of coming down to the end as the participants started dwindling down, you saw kind of how this was going to shake out. There was a glimmer of hope. They left us in there with Dom because Dom had gotten eliminated earlier in the match, but cheated his way back in, which agreed, that was original. That was cool.
Yeah.
But with LA Knight and Jimmy both being tied up in the ropes, Jimmy had saved Jay multiple times through this match, but when it came time for Jimmy to be saved, you didn't see Jay make the save. No. You saw him coming up short, if not helping to push them both over.
I mean, so
you could take it both ways, how that all kind of shook out there.
Now, if we want to get completely technical on it, they kind of botched that spot because they should have been hanging up there. But both of them had fell over by the time Jay got there. Jay just kind of nudged them all out. So I'm like, well, if he had got there like a second earlier, it probably would have looked a bit better. But nonetheless, right? So what has Jay been hearing for the last month from Big Cuz? You know, what's Big Cuz been telling Jay?
Chief.
Helping out other people screws you over in the end, right? That's the message he's been telling to Jay for the last month.
Take what you want.
And in that moment, Jay listened more to the tribal chief than he did Jimmy, because he said, hey, if I help Jimmy out, I could get screwed over. But if I dump him, then I put me first. And dumping him, he dumped him and he won the damn thing. So Roman's philosophy ain't wrong, right? I mean, what he told Jay actually is the correct way of thinking. What does that? But I mean, hell, Roman and Jay and Jimmy ain't getting together until Christmas. After this, I don't know that Jimmy and Jay will be together at the New Year at this point. They might be ringing in the New Year completely separate.
So we got Jey Uso finally eliminating Dom and winning the whole damn thing. And now we got Jey Uso versus CM Punk for Saturday night's main event.
And that brings us to the Punk effect.
The Punk effect.
The CM Punk effect.
Obviously, people have been clamoring for Punk to have that title for a while, but they wanted it to be Seth versus Punk.
Yeah.
And Seth's injury, like we said last week, domino effect.
Yeah.
I think they're finally going to pull the trigger, and Punk is going to get crowned champion at Saturday Night.
I do too. Hence the title of the show. I feel like Punk is damn near a 100% guarantee lock to win because he's been earmarked to win. I feel like when Seth took the title off of him, it was just an earmark for, all right, CM Punk will get his revenge back at XYZ fill in the blank pay-per-view, right? Probably Mania. Probably not. Now, at this point, we got to break glass in emergency here. That's CM Punk lately because he's kind of been a go-to guy. Now, I feel like we're almost looking at Seth and CM Punk at WrestleMania on the flip side with Punk defending and Seth challenging. If Seth's even ready to come back at Mania. We don't know the extent of his injury. We don't know what we're looking at here.
All right. So I'm going to give you a side avenue here.
Okay.
If you are willing to walk down this avenue with
I got time. I got time this Friday morning.
All right.
Afternoon for those of you late listeners.
So, what if I told you they might have given me a window for my hot take booking about the World Heavyweight Championship being on the line in a War Games?
What?
Yeah. What if they gave me that small window for that booking to actually come to pass?
So I'm telling you now, before we start taking this walk here, I'm tying up my shoes real tight because you might have to carry me through some of this.
So what if Jay CM Punk Saturday Night Main Event ends in a no contest due to the Bronze coming down and wrecking havoc?
No, so we still don't have a champion coming out of.
Oh. Remember what I said about War Games. What if that championship is not decided until whoever wins War Games? Braun gets him a team backed, Punk gets him a teamed back, and it's Braun versus Punk, basically War Games.
Yeah, but then who gets the title if you win? Is it
Punk.
Whoever gets the pinfall?
Whoever the captain is. Whoever the captain is.
I ain't fighting on no team to get somebody else the world title. Come on now.
So I'm just saying that's a far-fetched booking idea, but
we might have to flesh that out. How many weeks do we have until War Games? We got a month at least, right? Yeah, so we might have to flesh that out in a future episode.
I do think there is a small chance if the WWE wants to throw all of us a curveball in the booking that we all like to do, armchair style booking. If they want to throw us a curveball, let that CM Punk Jey Uso match end in a no contest. Let this thing drag out for a while to where we don't know, because obviously everything, if it's Jay versus CM Punk, we all know who's coming out of that thing as the champ.
Yeah.
It's
yeah,
Punk.
Yeah.
It's predictable, right?
Yeah.
It's as predictable as it is with Cody Rhodes' booking right now.
Yeah, that's a whole nother episode in and of itself. Holy hell.
Obviously, Drew's not going to go over on
Hell,
Cody.
zero chance. Zero chance.
So
on a Saturday too? Come on now. Absolutely.
So with this match, if it goes to a no contest, it gets to drag out a little bit. You get some uncertainty. You get your reason to need to turn into Monday Night Raw to see what's going to happen.
I don't know, because the title ain't going to get picked up on a Monday. So, so you ain't tuning in to see who gets the title. Now you're just tuning in to see how they're going to swerve you again. And I don't know if that's going to drag enough interest.
But if they do continue to follow traditional booking like we think they're going to do, obviously CM Punk is going to be World Heavyweight Champion come Saturday night's main event, which ain't a bad thing. It ain't a bad thing. It's just predictable.
It's definitely not bad, but I'll be honest, I think they got to give somebody the world title because I think they had plans circulating around Seth and the world title, him being the champion, and I think that was kind of a catalyst to some plans that they got going into Rumble and Mania season. So I feel like you got to have a champion to execute those plans, so I don't think they're going to be able to stray too far away from the framework of the plan. They may be able to, obviously superstars are plug and play. So,
right.
If you have to finagle some things here or there, you might have to do that. I mean, hell, they could even get to a point where Punk wins the title from Jay and the Bronze come out there to help him, and then Punk leads Vision. I mean, we've seen Punk lead factions before,
right.
So it's not impossible to do, and I mean, obviously the Vision turned on Seth. Why not flip Punk to heel and let Punk, represent the Vision in Seth's place and kind of play that role? Then when Seth comes back from injury, he's the face and you just kind of double turn. There's a lot of different avenues you could work. It just depends on what the framework was that they had already built. If they feel like the story was that strong that they needed to execute the story, then I say flip-flop the guys and still execute the story with the changeover. If the championship or the superstar are the actual focal point of that story, now you got to rewrite it, right? You got to go back to the drawing board. And this group doesn't go back to the drawing board often.
I got one more avenue if you want to go down with me, sir.
I'm ready.
One more avenue. Here we go. And I just thought about this one. So let's see where this takes us. It might take us to a dead end and we just crash.
Well, if we do that, I'm going to crash out immediately after. So
what if Jay wins?
Okay.
Hey,
I can get on board with that.
What if Jay wins with the help of the Bronze? And
so
Paul,
then they're a little faction.
And Paul has orchestrated it all. And Paul gets to Jay by telling him, I can take you places just like I took Roman.
And then he's kind of Jay's wise man.
And then he's Jay's wise man, which all leads to eventually Jay doing Paul's bidding as champion with the Bronze helping. Maybe the Bronze eventually turn on Jay. Maybe not. Maybe they click and get to be a cohesive group. And then what if the next play is Roman? And then we get a Roman versus Jay for that World Heavyweight title. Maybe SummerSlam, maybe Rumble, or not SummerSlam.
That could work its way into Mania.
Yeah.
So I like that right now. So I don't think there's a brick wall on that. I think that's actually a pass go and collect $200 on the way around and keep circling. Press the gas pedal as far as you can, right? Because we've been saying for the longest time. I mean, that's where this whole effect thing started. Is that when Roman's out of the picture, it loses a step, right? It falls down a notch. So and we've claimed you need to find a way to get Roman in the picture, right? If Seth ain't in there, hey, you bring Roman in. That's an upgrade. Yep. You're not losing a step on that. And there's already so many underlying storylines between Jay and Roman with the advice, with the conversations, with them costing Roman the match at the last PLE. There's enough in there that you could let Jay win the title. You don't even have to do it fast. You could slow play it and let Jay win the title and then Roman just come back and just mild interactions that those two guys have. Start planting those seeds, and then down the road, if Jay and Paul link back up, well, then obviously that puts Roman right at the forefront of, hey, I got to take these two guys down.
Now, obviously, a couple things as we get ready to wrap up this show, but a couple things. Obviously, a lot of people are clamoring, why not Braun? We talked about how dude looked great with that title on his shoulder.
Yep.
Why not? Again, though, we also talked about long-term booking.
Yeah.
Long-term booking. So
I think there's one key element in why not Braun, and I think Braun said it himself this past weekend or this past week on Monday. Braun said, I got a lot to learn.
Yep.
That just means that, hey, everybody in the world might think Braun's ready, but somebody knows that it ain't time.
Yep.
And as long as they stick to that, then they can do the long-term storytelling to build Braun up, to make him that next Roman Reigns.
If they put it on Punk, cool. Predictable, but cool.
Yeah.
If they put it on Jay and they put it on this way, interesting.
Well, so I think the story that we laid out with Punk winning, if the Braun's side with Punk and he just fills the Seth role and just plays that, I think that's probably their most effective way of going. But again, that's if they feel like the story's strong enough that it needs to be carried out, then that I would say do that. I like your idea, though, on the flip side, though, like, okay, that story's Seth's out, right? That story's gone. We got to blow that whole thing up.
Yep.
Let's flip the switch. Let's move back over because, again, it leans back into what we've been saying for the last 3 weeks at this point now. You got to get Roman back in there and you got to make him a focal point one way or the other. It does that. So, I mean, either way, it kind of leans into what we're asking for here. And it also begs to our effects that these guys are the guys that can make the effect of what we're looking for, and that's to turn the tide on the upswing.
I don't mind Jimmy being a heel. I think that'll go very well. I don't mind even if he becomes heel. They run a story to where they put Jimmy out for a while, which obviously he's going to need to be out for a while with that baby coming, so that could be a part of the storyline.
Yeah, the stair steps to get to Roman. You don't just wake up and start fighting Roman. I mean,
LA Knight, you could insert LA Knight somewhere into this.
Could we not? I mean, at this point now.
Eventually, though, here's where I think they're going to get to eventually. Do I think Roman needs that belt around his waist or over his shoulder? Abso-freaking-lutely.
Do I think the WWE needs Roman to have that belt at 100%?
Do I think the best opponent for Roman when he wins that strap, the best opponent is CM Punk chasing Roman to finally get that belt back? However long they want to drag that out, fine. But Punk Roman, somewhere along the way, can draw money.
Yeah, so with the top tier of talent that we have on Raw right now, I feel like Roman could draw with all of them, right?
Correct.
It's just this. You got to give me a story that makes me buy into it,
Want
right?
to tune in, absolutely.
Well, and that's the thing. Punk and Roman, they got backstory.
Yep.
Jay and Roman, they got backstory. Go one of those two ways, you've sold me. You've got me lock, stock, and barrel until Mania.
Yep. All right. That's our story. CM Punk effect. What do you guys think? Which way do you think they're going to go? Are they going to go the predictable route, putting it on Punk? Are they going to swerve us with some odd Jey Uso heel turn? What's going to happen with this thing? Nobody.
Are we going to have a new effect next week? What in the world is going to happen?
We're going to have a new episode to this series.
Oh my goodness! What's going to give what effect are we going to be barreling off of next week?
So as with everything, thank you guys for listening. Appreciate everything you guys do. Reach out to our social media platforms. Drop us a line. Tell us your thoughts on the CM Punk effect. Tell us your thoughts on who's going to win Saturday night's main event. Also, tell us what you want to see as we are building and leading up to Survivor Series.
It's getting to be time.
Getting to be that time. So thank you, everybody. We appreciate you, and we bid you adieu.
Peace. Speaking a lot of
today's podcast was produced by SBP. You can find our podcast on all major podcast platforms. Also, connect with us on our social media accounts. Search for The Bookers Alliance on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and X.